Welcome to Off the Console, the hottest new podcast talking about video games, tech news, like nerdy stuff, and all sorts of other like random stuff that happens. And today we have our special guest, Retro Game Core, who was on the show pretty early on, and he's back for a second visit. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm here as a repeat offender now, which is pretty great. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks.
I don't know if that's the term I would have used, but yes, you've been here once before, and it's gonna be an interesting It's gonna be an interesting show this week because it looks like 2025 is gonna be the year of the handheld. There's so many. Yeah. There's so much handheld news. I can't wrap my head around it entirely. But before that, though, we usually start with what we've played this week. And what have you been playing, Garden? Sorry. Fuck! I'm messing up right now.
I got it in your head.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right. Russ, what have you been playing this week?
So I have not been playing much. I kind of go in spurts where I've got either a stack of things to review or I don't, and when I have a stack of things to review, I'm mostly just doing game testing and stuff. So I haven't been playing much lately because I've had so many things to review. The last game I really played through was Expedition 33. I really enjoyed that, but I finished that like a month ago. And ever since then, it's just been kind of, a few minutes here or there, but nothing really big. So,
That's
kind of boring.
Did you do like everything, or are you just stuck to the story?
I mostly stuck to the story, yeah. And even like by the time I got to the end of the game, it was really hard for me, like the pairing timing and stuff like that. So I ended up putting in a mod to extend the parry window just to make it so I could finish the last two bosses, because I was just hitting a wall, you know what I mean? Even on the easiest difficulty. I'm not the best video game player in the world, and
I can see I don't even use parry. I just dodge.
Oh really? Yeah. Yeah, I was dodge and parry, in general I just extended both of them, and that allowed me to get through. But I want to go back and replay those without the mod. You know what I mean? Just to say, yes, I truly beat the game, even if it was on the easiest difficulty. So
you heard it here first.
Gotta explore.
You heard it here first. I still haven't played the game, to be honest. I really do want to play it at some point, but I know it's going to eat up a lot of my time that I just don't have right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to go through it and like 100% a bunch of games, so...
Yes, I am.
You can play Expedition. I think the 100%, it's like 50, 60 hours for an FRPG, or JRPG. It's not too bad.
Yeah, well, I think I've put way more than that into games like Balatro or The 100 Line. I'm still trying to 100% Balatro. I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm bothering, to be honest. I'm just waiting for... Honestly, I took a break from it, though, because I'm waiting for the gameplay update that's supposed to happen this year to drop. But on the topic of Balatro, there was a game that the developer, Local Thunk, recommended called Starvaders. It's like a roguelike deck builder mixed with like a tactical, like turn-based tactics. It's pretty fun. I've unlocked the highest difficulty. I haven't beaten that just yet, but I'm chipping away at it.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, Gardiner, what have you been playing, dude? Yeah.
I haven't been playing much. I've been very busy with work, and but one thing that I have been doing is I've been working on this end card generator tool that integrates with Patreon, with YouTube, and with my Ghost blog, and creates a list automatically of all of the people who support the show.
What?
And can I show you?
Yes, please. Are you going to share it?
Yeah, I'll share it real quick. Here, check this out. So I wrote this tool, and it generates a website for me that I can then screen capture with OBS or something. And if I hit spacebar, it plays the animations.
Oh, that's nice. Sick.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool, too, because I'm adding flair. So, like, this 7 means Glenn Steen has been supporting my channel for 7 years. This guy has been supporting for 2, Dan Henschel. And then, the lower tiers get, so that there's more time for everybody to be on screen, they get sorted into multiple columms. So I'm very happy with how this has turned out. I completely rewrote the entire backend, because this was written in like 2017.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so I completely rewrote the backend to make this work, and I feel like it looks pretty cool.
It does look very cool, Gardiner.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I am working on something similar, and I've worked on it on and off for a year or two. So
Yeah.
if you see anything out that I do similar with my website, don't think I stole
Don't
it.
sue him.
Oh no, yeah, it's all good.
Don't sue me. I love it though. Like honestly, yours is really good.
I'm thinking about open sourcing it and getting it out there so other people can use it, because I built this in a way that is going to be easy to use. And really, if I wanted to open source it, the only thing I'd have to add is like a way for you to OAuth into your various accounts to pull down your account information, so that then you can. Because right now, some of this is kind of hard coded, but yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that is very nice. You know, that reminds me. I've been trying to look up a way to integrate the Steam's API. You know how you can put like a game, like the game name, release date, all that stuff. I've been trying to look for a way. I've been trying to look into a way to integrate that into DaVinci Resolve, because you know how like some of my videos have like game titles and also the developer below. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like instead of copy pasting like the game name like manually,
Yeah.
like instead I can just type in like a game ID, it just auto populates.
I could probably
That'd be
make
cool.
something for you. I already have the data for like Steam and all that. I've been integrating it into my website, so I have a whole pool of game data. I just need to write out an extension.
Yeah, I think it's DaVinci Resolve.
I love that stuff. I love doing that stuff. Well, yeah, no, it's DaVinci Resolve, but you could do it two ways. You could either do an export of like a really cool card animation that you can then just drop it into the DaVinci Resolve, or you could write an extension that just queries the API.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, to be honest.
Yeah, I like doing that type of stuff too. Yeah, I'll look at it for you if you want.
I mean, hey, if you've got time, sure. I'm not. No pressure.
I mean,
though.
I was planning on doing something like that. So
There is a VS Code extension that helps you handle scripting for DaVinci.
yeah,
Maybe I should get into that
Or-
vibe coding stuff. That
or
James
I can vibe code it. Hey, if you direct it right, it's fine. It's not vibe coding.
It's just vibe coding with management.
I'm just yeah, exactly. I'm the new C executive, and once AI takes that spot, then I guess I'll be homeless or something.
Well, we'll have some AI discussions later on in the video, but I think it's time for us to talk about probably some of the biggest news in gaming, like this month.
What
to be
about
honest.
James?
Oh shit! That's right, James. What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing Expedition 33 right here. I was so tempted to just like, there's 4 of us. I could probably get away with playing Expedition while we talked. Because I have been addicted to it this week. It's finally kicked in to where I'm just like, okay, I got it.
Wait,
I want to get this done. And yeah.
When you say
What
right
was that?
here, do you mean like on a handheld beside you?
No, I have my like portable monitor right below my other monitors. And so I've been playing it while I've been vibe coding. So I'm just like, do my bidding, and then I play Expedition. And so
Dude.
it's been fun. It's been really fun. But Expedition 33 is something I definitely recommend. I am with these types of games of completion, especially when they make it interesting, because when you go and find all the extra stuff, it just they make it so different. It's fun. Like one of the one-offs is like this yellow. It feels like a fall-like city where it's, or not city, but area where everything feels like fall, which is really fun. Yeah, so I definitely like Russ. I definitely recommend going through and playing some of the side stuff. I think it would also help you beat the end boss, because you really do get a lot of really good loot from it to help you. So
Yeah, one of the things I did in that game that was the wrong move was that because you can only have 3 people in your party at a time, but you have got like 5 people to choose from, or 6 maybe, I can't remember. But
5 or 6.
I started neglecting one specific character because I didn't really like that person. Not like them, but I was like, I don't really want to follow that story that much, so I'm going to really follow these guys, and they're going to be my story, But that one is the one that you can really like make OP if you like get all of the right equipment. And so I kind of shot myself in the foot by keeping some of the weaker characters that just appealed to me a little bit more. And so,
Dude, I hate when
also-
that happens.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, there's a couple of the characters you gotta play with all of them continually, because and it helps you learn how to use each one. Mm-hmm. But one little thing. And if you want to skip over this because you want to learn it yourself, that's fine. It's not really much of a spoiler. But if each weapon you equip When you go to level up your character, because you have levels and you get points to level up like different stats, it really depends on what weapon you have, on if you'll get bonus stats. And so luckily you can reapply your stats, so you can reset all your stats, and I'm going to go back through and apply different weapons for each. So see if I can make my characters OP that way. Because all you have to do is have the weapon equipped, go apply those stats, and then you can go the ones you want, and then you could re-equip something else and just have a really balanced character. But
really
that makes
balanced.
sense.
Is it like a sphere grid system like in Final Fantasy X?
No.
Oh.
No.
I remember that.
No, it's good because to get your skills though, you do have like paths. You have skill paths. So you could either go into like fire, ice, stuff like that, depending on the character. Some characters' skill trees are kind of just a little different, but you can reset them. So it's not like you're locked. I always like that mechanism because it's not like you're locked in. You can trust me. Like once you get halfway through, I feel like you want to reset those. So
Right.
I tried Doom: The Dark Ages 2, Gardiner, and I agree. It's just a little too heavy. And so I'm still having fun with it, but I'm gonna be Expedition 33 before I started on it again.
Oh man, this is gonna be a hot take podcast, man. People really like. Well, it's been like a month or two now since Doom: The Dark Ages came out, right? So it's now it's hitting that stage where people are starting to hate it. Sometimes
They're starting to hate it.
Sometimes
that's
how it
goes.
That's how it goes. It goes. Game comes out, and honeymoon. People love the game. They rave about it, and then like a few months later, people start to like overcorrect and start hating on it. That's kind of what's happening with the Expedition right now.
Really?
Yeah, because like all of the like big people that have played JRPGs for years like hate the fact that some of the biggest creators are like JRPG should be like Expedition 33. All of them should be like Expedition 33. That was a post.
Well, that's not. You shouldn't hate the game because of that. Just
hate the guy. Yeah. I agree, but people on the internet are crazy. People on the internet are crazy.
I agree.
I mean, when I watched some reviews about Doom: The Dark Ages, people were like, I didn't really like it at first, but then it like when I got into like the later levels, it started to pick up and I really enjoyed it. And I had kind of the opposite experience. Like honestly, like playing the game was like, I think I've said this like every time we've talked about it, but like it starts off like at feeling like Doom, and then the more mechanics they add that are unique to the Dark Ages, it just ends up not being the kind of Doom experience I want. And I didn't hate the game. I really enjoyed the first couple of levels. And then it got to the first mech game, the first mech level, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me at all.
If you guys need a boomer shooter, I like Ultra Kill.
Yeah.
Have you guys
still
played
got to play through that. I still got to play through it. I've
it's
played a little
so
bit of it.
good.
I gotta get into it.
Oh, this looks great.
Wait, what does?
Ultra Kill. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it looks great.
Dude, Ultra Kill is sick, man. It's like a boomer shooter mixed with like Devil May Cry, and the skill ceiling is astronomical. I can P rank missions, but I can't do it as well as some people I've seen on the internet. It's insane.
That looks fun.
Yeah. So I think it's time we get to the first topic of the day. Microsoft. Lots of Microsoft stuff. So as you know, Microsoft unveiled the Xbox ROG Xbox Ally. God, I cannot get over the fact that
it's the Microsoft Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. Okay,
Series X/S.
I know, right?
Why didn't they call it the Ally X and Ally S if they were just going to do that? Because they have two different models. Oh, that reminds me, Retro Game Core was actually there, and he actually got to like touch it and use it. I am curious. How were you liking the device?
I mean, it really, I use my Ally X with Bazite on it as kind of like my main handheld PC right now. I kind of go between that and the Steam Deck, and it's so similar to that. I mean, the controls are the same. The analog sticks and the triggers all feel the same.
Right.
It just has those new like grips to them. That's basically it, and it's way more comfortable. I play with a 3D printed grip on my Ally X because it's it's kind of a flat handheld, and so I like having that grip feel of like a Steam Deck, and this has that feeling, and so I think it's really good. It's a little bit heavier, but not by much. So yeah, I'm actually ergonomically, I think it's going to be really great. But that screen does feel a little bit outdated at this point. And we've seen it for years with the original Ally and then the Ally X, and now this one. It's that same 7-inch screen, which feels a little bit small on a 1080p, like 16:9 aspect ratio. And so, yeah, other than that, it's good. It really, there's a lot of confusion out there because a lot of people are like, oh, it's a handheld Xbox, so I can play my Xbox games on it. No, it's a handheld PC, like all the others, with a rebranding on it, and with a bigger emphasis on gaming through Windows. That's basically it.
Do you think they'll make it so that the Xbox games that are currently on the Series X and S will be... because pretty much anything that comes to Xbox is ported over to PC. Do you think they'll try to make sure that like it's easy to access in their store and that it will play well on this?
Yeah, during our we had 2 moments with this thing. Like we had a kind of guided tour for an hour where we sat on these couches and all the executives were there and they're like, "Oh, look what we did," And in that hour, they talked about Xbox Play Anywhere multiple times. And Play Anywhere is the idea of like if you buy the game on Xbox or PC, you'll have the rights to be able to download it on the other console as well, right? So you buy the thing on Xbox, and there's a PC version, you can play it there. So their idea is like, just buy the game once and you'll have it everywhere. And that's been around for a while, but they really push that they are like expanding that. And so the only way that you can expand that at that point, they're not putting PC ports on the Xbox console, they are putting Xbox console games on PC. And so yes, that's probably the direction they're going. And the thing I think that we're probably about to talk about, this whole AMD video that they made, they mentioned it again in this video too, where they're like, we're going to put it everywhere. And then I don't know if you guys saw this too, but there was a rumored kind of news article that I saw where the Xenia emulator developers, the guys who make the Xbox 360 emulator, they have been in talks with Microsoft. And so I don't know what that means, but that would be pretty cool if we get 360 games available on PC officially, as opposed to loading up a third-party emulator, So I see this kind of coming together. Xbox has always been very backwards compatible friendly. And I think that's a win for all of us. I have a huge Xbox 360 library that's sitting in my Xbox account. So I can play that on my Series consoles, no problem, because I own those games. I bought them digitally, but I can't play them on my handheld PCs. And if I can do that, that would be pretty amazing. Instead of trying to do emulation, which is, the Xenia emulator is really power hungry. It takes a lot of power to run. So it's not great to play on a handheld PC just because the battery drains really quickly. So
if they work with Microsoft, though, I mean, that kudos if that ends up being the thing. They could maybe make it more power efficient if there's actually some help. But
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably a lot of workarounds that the Xenia team is doing because they're not doing it officially and they're just trying to get things to work. That I bet from, just like a kind of coding perspective that, if they get that official support and they get the actual Xbox guys working on it, that would be pretty awesome.
What chipset is the Xbox 360? Isn't it AMD?
No, it's IBM.
It's IBM.
It's the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. That's right.
Damn, that's it. That's really cool. Honestly, I mean, I don't think you can get much better than you buy it on Xbox or PC and being able to play it on the other. I think this pretty much just makes this almost as close as possible to an Xbox handheld as you can get right now, without them just officially doing it.
Dude, playing Xbox 360 games on a handheld, because Xbox 360 emulation doesn't really work that well, in my opinion. I mean, it's improved substantially, Xenia's improved substantially, but generally speaking, it hasn't worked that well, especially on something even high-end PC. You gotta have a really high-end PC to run 360 games, which is kind of weird, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've had fairly good luck playing 360 games on my Steam Deck, honestly.
Really?
I'm not playing super heavy games. I'm playing a lot of Xbox Live Arcade titles, but pretty much everyone that I've tried has worked. The major exception being Gears of War 2 and stuff like that. Those just don't seem to work very well on the deck. But Perfect Dark for Xbox Live or Hydro Thunder Hurricane. Oh man.
a lot of my favorite 360 games do have PC ports, but I can't think of too many that are just landlocked to 360, except for maybe Lost Odyssey. You guys ever heard of that game?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, imagine, dude, that would be so awesome if you could play that on PC, because people have been begging for like that. Because I was like,
Right.
a lot of people considered like the last Final Fantasy almost. Like,
Yeah.
classic
Same with like
turn-based.
Blue Dragon would be great. You know, there's several 360 games that I think would be awesome to have PC ports of.
Yeah, but I do think a lot of the games I've played, like a lot of the 360 games, like Halo, is on PC now. You wouldn't have ever seen that years ago, right?
Right.
And there's reports of the Halo potentially coming to Switch 2 and PlayStation.
That'd be
That would
so
be crazy.
Yeah, I mean Halo isn't as relevant as it used to be, but it still would be pretty crazy.
I mean, even Gears of War Reloaded is coming to PlayStation, right?
That's right.
It's wild.
You know what's really funny though? The top selling games on PlayStation right now are Xbox games.
Yeah.
It's dude, people really want Xbox games, but not Xboxes, I guess. I do. Yeah, you were right. They did mention backwards compatibility in the video, and so that would be a killer feature if they were able to make it so that you could play your 360 games. I suppose the only caveat is I have a bunch of disc games. I want to play those as well. I know I'd have to get a CD, like a DVD drive or something to do that. But I think it'd be interesting to do.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I've got a lot of disc-based games. I've got like a whole binder of them from back in the day, you know. And yeah, I would really... I think it would be really cool if they had some sort of licensing feature, you know, you put in the disc and it's like, okay, this is now your game or whatever, you know, and it goes into your digital account, maybe a $5 fee or something. That would be awesome, but I don't know if they can actually pull that off.
You'd be hard pressed to do that, but if anyone could do it, it's probably Microsoft, because like they're the only people. To be honest, they're the only people that could do it that way. I don't know.
It would be nice, but at the end of the day, even if it's just we could get Xbox 360 games on there and they're like a reasonable price, I'd also be okay. And I say reasonable, not $80, right?
Yeah.
You know, Gardiner, you were I think you were gone last week when we were talking about the X, because it was just unveiled during then. I am curious what your thoughts are. I think I've heard a couple of your thoughts on the video, on like your videos, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a neat idea, but I think it's too little, too late for Microsoft. Like, they're seeing the writing on the wall, but they've already done all the hard work of killing off Xbox as a brand that people like, and so I just don't see this as being enough. In my news video yesterday, I basically said that this is Microsoft killing Xbox like definitively in order to fight Linux gaming, which is just like the most corporate bro strategy I've ever seen. But I mean, I think it is good to have like competition. So we'll see if Microsoft can actually compete. I think that they're too old, and their just mindset is so misoriented that they're just not going to be able to pull this off.
yeah, I do agree. Especially, it's hard to like trust Microsoft in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Microsoft is an incredibly huge company, right? And so they have like their cloud division and they have their consumer division. They have Xbox, you know? And it's like I just don't see, like, the cloud division is full of people who love like Linux and they're working on building cool Linuxy things. And then they have like the desktop team and they have all these other people and they're all going in different directions and there's no like unified vision for what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, this is the closest to a unified vision I think I've seen from them with this video, where they're like, hey, we're not going to divide PC gamers and console anymore. But if you think about like the gamers, the PC gaming master race, they're not going to take kindly to Windows becoming more consoleized, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
I will add one thing too, is like when I went to that 1 hour like guided presentation and had a lot of the kind of bigwigs there, it really gave me a feeling like, hey, we got this thing to work. You know, their like desktop environment that they're working on. Hey, we finally got this thing to work. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, the only reason that you guys didn't have this before was because you it was yourselves. Like, you guys had so many internal problems between your different teams that's why you didn't have this done. And now you want to like get pat on the back because you finally worked with each other. But it's all the same company. Like, you know, it's just kind of like, hey, we got through our own bureaucracy to make this product for you. Isn't this great? And I'm like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of a weird dystopian kind of look. Like, hey, we finally got this together, you know?
At least they did it, right?
Yeah.
The biggest problem is you can't trust any, like Sony, Microsoft,
Nintendo,
even Apple, Nintendo. Well, Nintendo actually is the only exception partially. Those are all very big companies, like massive. Nintendo, is not even close to being as big as like
Microsoft.
They have, Nintendo is a game company.
Yeah.
And they might have a little, I'm sure they have some hands in some other things, but because they started, what did they start out as? Like a card company, like a toy company or something like that?
Yeah,
So,
Hanafuda cards, yeah.
Yeah, forever ago. And I think Sony, honestly, it's just like, maybe it's time to start breaking up these monopolies. And they can communicate with each other, but like that's what's killing them partially.
That was my take when they first announced this. Was like, I posted on my blog just kind of the most snarky, like, it's just time to break them up because like,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, I can see having competition be good. It's just that like, I don't see Microsoft being able to compete with how huge they are. Like, it's just not going to. I don't know. I don't know if you know the story of like RCA. They were like the biggest company in the world and like tech company back in the day. Mm-hmm. And they spent like 25 years or something developing like basically vinyl records that had video stored on them. And they got beat to market by Laserdisc and they got beat to market by VHS. But they spent billions. I mean, I don't know what it would be today's money, but it was lots, like an egregious amount of money to do this. They had the vision. They didn't have the organization, and the teams in the company were all competing with each other rather than competing with the market, and it ended up destroying the company. So I just see that as like where we're at with Microsoft. It's
well, they also have so the CEO's like, well, we're gonna have a directive. We're gonna only focus on AI. We're only gonna focus on like certain things, and that is, you have how many departments? You should be having a vision for each one that is not tied to one single one. I think that's why they're so far behind on the handheld thing, is that they were more focused on adding AI bloat to Windows. Is one of the reasons why I've just like kind of dropped it, except for playing games, to just do the AI stuff. So I think they'd be much better if they either like completely cut off from CEO, but if you're going to do that, might as well just completely break up the companies.
Yeah. Imagine, I wonder if Xbox breaking away from Microsoft, like becoming its own actual company, I wonder if that would save Xbox.
It would.
They'd have to compete, and that would make them have to like produce products that people actually want to buy.
Shit.
Yeah. The thing that I find really interesting about all of this is that like you could have Microsoft like spin off Xbox, and then Xbox could like Xbox has some of the best gaming IPs, and they're like, in terms of like hardware vendors, besides Valve, right? And Valve's kind of like in the hardware market, Valve's pretty small. Where like Xbox is the only American like hardware manufacturer for this stuff, right? Like, so they have like a unique perspective on like what Western audiences want from a games console. They could do so much with all of the games that they're publishing. They have Activision and Bethesda now. It's like, and as an Xbox fan, like I designed a Steam Deck logo that looks like an original Xbox logo. That's how much I love the original Xbox. But I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me how. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Nvidia, right? Like Nvidia has pivoted away from like consumer graphics cards because there's more money in the cloud, right? Like they can sell the like much higher volumes at a marked up rate to server farms. And it's like Microsoft is also pivoting towards the cloud. They have like done a lot to make the Windows experience more cloud based, and they're moving away from like consumer facing stuff. So it doesn't make sense for them to continue maintaining brands like Xbox which is exclusively consumer facing as far as I'm concerned.
Well said. And, back to the topic of the Xbox handheld, here's an interesting question. Are we just going to install Bazite on it?
I will.
Honestly, I like having two handhelds, one that has like a Steam Deck or a Steam OS or Bazite oriented operating system, and then Windows. I like that they're going towards a Windows. They're kind of taking a page, it sounds like, for I didn't touch the handheld, but maybe Russ could better explain that, or like expand upon this, but having like a game mode with my handheld, Windows handheld, would be a game changer for me, but I still like SteamOS. So
yeah, it definitely the whole I forgot what they call it, full screen game mode or whatever. It definitely has that SteamOS versus desktop mode, like game mode versus desktop mode kind of feel to it. And they're cutting away some of those additional processes, and so it does feel pretty snappy. It needed some refinement, like they wouldn't let us film anything, from that experience or whatever. But it worked pretty well. I mean, you just kind of get in your library, you start up your game, and then they have, if you press and hold the Xbox button, it would bring up all your different tiles so you can swap windows. It's kind of like alt tabbing, basically. And that's basically the extent of it. It's really more about what they are not doing on that side versus the desktop version. Like there's no taskbar, there's no desktop that's being loaded, all that kind of stuff.
That is pretty cool. I mean, I am super curious. I wonder what Valve could learn from Microsoft operating system and what cool features they could implement on SteamOS and SteamOS, from Microsoft, of course.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how how this complements one another. I want to give it a chance. I definitely, once it becomes available, the first thing I'm not going to wipe it first thing and put Bazite on it. But I do want to give it a chance and see how it works. And we'll see. I assume, like with any OS experience, it's going to be rough around the edges in the beginning, and then it'll take some time.
Was there the ability to drop into like a standard Windows desktop?
They didn't show us that, but they said that you will be able to swap between one and the other.
Nice.
But I don't think they were there yet. But I mean, they didn't want us to say the word SteamOS. Like every time I said it, they would cringe. But I was like, oh, kind of like desktop mode on SteamOS, and they're like, it's kind of funny. But
do you know if it's like a separate session where there is no desktop running behind?
Correct. Yeah. So it's a separate session. So you have to load the desktop separately.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that could go a long way by itself.
They say that it saves. They said it saves 2 gigs of RAM resources, just by doing that. And if they were giving those numbers in the very first beginning, like that was kind of promising to me. I'm like, wow, you actually gave us a real number, which said something to me.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is crazy. I am super curious about modding it, the game experience in a way, because what about running other launchers? Like I think Play Night is a very popular one that people use. Imagine if you could just use that instead of the Xbox experience.
Right. Yeah, and they are fully integrating every available store, so they didn't show it in any of their marketing materials, but they said yes, it will integrate with Steam and your Steam library and whatnot. But you're right. Like whether or not you want to use their launcher or a different launcher would be kind of interesting to figure out.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I am looking forward to this. And worst comes to worst, the hardware is better, and we could just install Baz on it. But I mean, it might be. Right. It might be good for Windows as a whole. Honestly, if this works out pretty well, I mean, I could see people enabling this mode for like their gaming laptops because
right,
yeah,
or home theater PCs. Like this would be great for like consoling, something. Especially if you want to play, if you want to play Fortnite, you want to play Destiny 2 or whatever, Call of Duty. Like those are going to be a lot easier to get up and running on Windows, and so that might be better just for more casual people.
I can do the forbidden thing. Finally, put Windows on my Steam Deck. Have the best experience. No, I'm just kidding. I've already done it. It's okay. But you've talked to us about like the screen size. That's my biggest kicker. It looks like it should be an 8-inch screen. It's not, and that was I might go with the Legion Go 2 if And I don't know. From my understanding, that this new game mode should be coming to all devices. But do you know if it's going to be only on the Xbox handheld first, or like exclusive,
Right.
or is it going to come out to everything?
They
Or
said
every
eventually it'll
system?
be on other stuff, but yeah, it's going to be coming to the Ally X in the beginning. And one point about the smaller screen is that they keep making the handheld bigger, right? And it's heavier, which means that you want to kind of rest your elbows on something. You kind of want to hold it like a little bit more of a comfortable position, like not right here, which means that the further you get it away from your eyes, the smaller the screen appears. And so they keep making this thing heavier and bigger, and that's kind of hurting themselves. I think the best screen that we've seen on a handheld in terms of just balance and everything is actually the new Legion Go S. I don't know if you guys have tried those handhelds, but it's like a great size. I think it's 8 inches, and it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio like the Steam Deck, and it's just like a nice, good, solid size. And so I wish they were using that screen in other handhelds, because I think it's really good. And I think it does go at like 120 hertz. It's not OLED, but it's a really nice panel. And so that's been my favorite recently. I've been testing one of those handhelds recently, and yeah, it's a really good size.
I want to try the Legion Go 2 prototype. Did you try one of those?
I did in January at CES. It feels a lot, well, I mean, it was a prototype, but it felt a lot like just a Legion Go, like the old one, but with more comfortable controls, which you can just slap them on the old Legion Go too. I mean, that's kind of the idea, is that it's going to use the same kind of rail system. So potentially, they'll finally have like some sort of additional controllers for the OG as well. So I think, yeah, it's pretty comfortable, but it's just it's a little bigger than I need. I think that 8-inch 1200p size has been a really good fit for me with the Legion Go S.
Yeah, man, it's God damn it. There's so many handhelds I can't even keep up. And honestly, on the topic of handhelds, Sony is rumored to be making a handheld with, you guessed it, PSSR. And for those who don't know, PSSR is PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. It's basically their form of FSR or DLSS, or what's Intel's version of that called?
XESS.
XESS. And I mean, it makes sense because these handhelds probably can't run. Certainly, a PlayStation 5 portable wouldn't run as well as like a standard base PS5. But honestly, a real like PSP or PS Vita sequel would be kind of awesome. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I think that if they can stick to the PS4 era games and those can run well, and the library carries over, like something like that would be kind of amazing. I feel like PS4 was a really kind of golden age for Sony, and just that catalog alone, I think, would drive a lot of sales. People who are like, yes, there's the latest and greatest on PS5, but man, I really loved playing, Last of Us 2 or whatever on the PS4, and having a console that can do that in the hand would be really awesome. It's very similar to like the PS Vita, which to me, one of the most attractive elements of the PS Vita were the PS2 remakes and remasters that they released on it. To me, that was more interesting, to be able to play those old school, like, Final Fantasy X or whatever on a little handheld. That was super cool. And I think if they capture that again with the PS4 era, yeah, it would be a big hit.
Yeah, I would love. That's my biggest problem with the Portal. I do plan on getting it eventually, but I want something that plays off the device itself first and foremost. And I do like a lot of PlayStation titles, and so I would really like this to be more powerful, and especially for $200, I feel like it's a little pricey for what you get. But yeah, I would like something that's more on the device instead of streaming.
The problem though was that Sony killed off the PlayStation Vita so quickly. I mean, I guess it was partly because they thought mobile gaming would just take over forever. Like they thought, our phones would be killing off Game Boys and DSs and all that stuff. Of course, that didn't happen. I don't think, not the way people expected it to.
Yeah,
especially since
I feel like go ahead.
Especially since they don't really make a lot of console quality games on phones. I think the last one I can think of really that tried to be super ambitious at the time was the Infinity Blade series. You guys have played that, right?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I feel like the PS Vita came out at a bad time. It's like the Xbox One era where they're like, this thing can do everything. Look, it's got a camera on it. It's got this touchpad on the back. Like, they put a bunch of features on there, and I think we've all learned our lessons at this point where it's like, no, just make the thing play games really well. Just do that one thing. Don't worry about having it integrate with, like, you know, all the other features and whatnot. And so I think that there's another opportunity there where if they really just make it a portable PS4, I think people would love it.
Yeah, it's hard to determine where Sony's going because Sony's been doing a lot of crazy stuff, like their whole live service transition. Like, you've seen that, right? They were trying to make like 12 live service games at once.
Right.
And honestly, aside from Helldivers 2, I don't think I can think of a single one that's actually succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to see where Sony's going, but you know, there was change in leadership as of recently. So, yeah, that might result in some change. But we've been talking too much about these these handhelds that aren't out yet. Let's talk about one that is out. The Switch 2. So, who has a Switch 2 here?
I have one.
I have one too. So, I guess it's just us then. So, third-party developer sales were lower than their lowest estimates. Third parties are not doing too hot on the Switch 2 right now.
Yeah. My heart goes out to them.
Yes. So the best-selling third-party game is of course Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to bet
the only one I bought.
I'm willing to bet that's because it's probably the most demanding one because it's like, it's Cyberpunk, right?
Right. Yeah, no, it's the only reason I bought it was because, well, one, I wanted to show it off on a video, but I wanted to see what the Switch 2 could do. Like, that's kind of like a good benchmark game, just kind of getting a feel for how powerful this console will be in the years to come. And so that's why I picked it up. I didn't need another copy of Cyberpunk because I have it on, like, GOG and Steam. But, yeah, it was just nice to kind of see how it runs. And it's pretty impressive if you don't really think about what actually is happening under the hood and, the comparison to like something like a ROG Ally or whatnot. But yeah, I think it's impressive that it's playing on such a thin little handheld.
I mean, the Switch 2 hasn't really been, it's sold really well. I think it's like the fastest selling console like day one of all time. Yeah. But the reception's been kind of lukewarm because for what it's worth, it basically is the Switch but like a little better. And honestly, Mario Kart World is kind of the same way too. Like, you have that, right?
Yeah, it's the open world part of it. I think is like a really good analogy for the rest of the game because it's like it's super cool for about 10 minutes, and then you're like, okay, like what's going on now? You know what I mean? And so that's how the Switch 2 is just felt. It's like it's super cool for about 10 minutes, and then you're like, I just paid $500 for this, and. Yeah, I
think people thought that maybe there would be like a full campaign in in Mario Kart World, like a full open world campaign. Right. But let's be honest, 90% of the game is still going to be like in the Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. It's fun, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's $80 fun.
I want Burnout Mario.
Yeah,
if they could have done something like that. That would have been perfect. I want Mario to fly out of the car, ram into something, just get squashed. Like, that would be awesome.
Dude, like some Mario ragdolls out of the
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Like, they need to be a little bit more aggressive because they're really good with how they can be innovative on the rails of Mario's. Like, every new Mario game and everything's been been very acclaimed and everything, but they need to start. I think they're starting to get to the point where they need to be a little bit more aggressive on some of their innovations, and so it will be. And plus, on top of it, like getting a $500 handheld that can only play like a handful of games, as opposed to I can go get another type of handheld, maybe even spend a little bit more, like $100 or more. Then you have 20,000 plus games in your hand, like. I don't know. If I was to recommend to anyone, unless you want those first-party games year one, I would recommend anything else. This is my opinion on it.
Yeah. I agree. Honestly, man, this wouldn't be the first time I bought a console just for one game. That happened with the PS4 and Bloodborne. No PC port still, by the way. But I mean, obviously, I'm gonna buy all of the Okay, so here's a fun fact. I lost a bunch of subscribers. I think 10 because I posted a picture of my Switch 2 in the community tab. I lost 5 during that. I lost another 5 for making a video about Switch 2 accessories. People are just great. Like, listen, I get it. Nintendo sucks as a business unit, but they still make some of the best games out there, man.
Yeah.
I think you should keep on posting and see how many you can lose.
How many I can lose?
Yeah.
Well, I would just replace all of my Steam Deck fanboys with Nintendo fanboys.
Nintendo? That seems like a really bad trade-off.
Yes, I think so.
I got a little pushback for myself because I did like an impressions video of the Switch 2 and stuff, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't believe you showed this off after Nintendo did you so dirty." And I'm like, well, the way I looked at it as a content creator is like, well, I'm actually just giving you insights into this console to help you decide whether or not you're going to pick it up. Yes, I did pick it up. My kids are loving it. My kids are not the ones that had their videos with copyright strikes. That was me, right? But I can still give this cool gaming experience to my kids and also review the thing at the same time. And so I kind of treat it like any other piece of hardware where it's just like, okay, let's see how the buttons feel, all that kind of stuff. And I never really thought about, Nintendo had done me dirty by, protecting their own IP. And so, it's always interesting how people get worked up about stuff on the internet.
The reason I don't have a Switch 2 is because of how they have mistreated you, Russ, but also other content creators and even open source projects. Like, I've just had it up to here with Nintendo, and even though I really do want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza, I will not be buying a Switch 2. I might get one secondhand, like a little ways down the line, but I'm not going to give Nintendo my money.
I'm sure it's bound to happen soon at some point in Gardiner. You might be getting it sooner than expected.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I can't control Emily. That's my backup plan. Right. If I really want it, I'll have her buy it, and then I won't about it.
Wow. Dude, people were calling out some ordinary gamers for buying a Switch 2. Because he was like, I'm not going to buy a Switch 2. And then the next video, he has a Switch 2.
Check out my Switch 2. Yeah. It's all good. I mean, I personally, if I didn't have a channel, and I would have waited maybe 2 years before buying this thing until the catalog actually made it worth it. I've done that with every console launch. I've always waited a year or two. Sometimes even once the Pro version is out, then I'll get the original because it's a lot cheaper and you got all those games.
Yeah.
So I would have totally have waited a lot more and kind of felt out the waters if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to make a video on it and kind of show it off.
I'm kind of over battling people if they have a scarcity mindset of releasing the console, like it's too hard to get. I'm kind of over battling people. I can wait. I just got to the age where I can wait a year. I think that's what it is for me. It's just not as fun to fight to get something where I'm like, I can wait a year. I have a huge backlog. The only thing I will fight for is a few, if it's Valve related, or maybe a couple other companies,
or a GPU.
No, screw them. That's why I'm going more portable. I'm gonna be doing probably a Legion Go or something along those lines. Have my eGPU. I know I've talked about this multiple times now. My 3090 and all these really large GPUs heat up my room. It's a fucking oven in here, and I hate it. I'm done with it. I'd rather be able to have 2 eGPUs in my house, one either in my room or my playroom, media room, and one here, and I can just take my device and it runs really well. I'm just kind of done with the whole beefy PC for now.
Yeah, makes sense.
So these companies are pushing me away from just wanting to buy their stuff because they make it so difficult.
And honestly, man, there was one more thing that it's not a topic, but scalpers have supposedly been having issues with selling the Switch 2.
Yeah, I heard.
Nice.
Let's see if we can find a Switch 2 for cheap.
That's a win.
No, we can't yet.
$1,000?
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
There you go, Gardiner. You don't have to pay.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Hold on. Let's see if we can find one in. Let's see. Buy it now.
You want to lose subscribers? You tell them that you bought something from a scalper. They hate that.
Yeah.
Okay. This doesn't look like a Switch 2. This looks like a network Switch.
There's 2 of them.
There's 4 of them. Oh shit.
It looks more useful though.
It definitely. Oh, you can buy Cyberpunk for what was this? It ends up being $10 cheaper than buying it from the store. That's hilarious. All right, so
I don't trust eBay. They have to make it so much cheaper nowadays on eBay. I just don't trust them.
All right.
I don't know about you guys. I've been scammed so many times. I mean, I get my money back, but it's once again a time sink. Just screw it.
All right, so it seems like scalpers haven't dropped the price below MSRP yet to try to recoup some money. But when they do, that'll probably be the best time to buy a Switch 2. That way, Nintendo doesn't get your money, and scalpers also lose money too. It's a win-win.
Yeah, I'll do that at that point.
So, all right, looking forward to that video, Gardiner.
Yeah, I'll gloat about it for sure.
All right. Speaking of gloating, though, unfortunately, Dark and Darker. So, have you guys played Dark and Darker yet?
Never heard of it.
So,
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So it's like an extraction shooter, but instead of like being modern combat based, it's instead like fantasy almost. So you have like swords.
It's full on fantasy.
It's
It's like Dungeons and Dragons essentially. It's very heavy play. Like, yeah,
it's an
very
extraction. Like, I don't want to say like
medieval. It's almost like a
fantasy.
medieval. Yeah.
So, if you recall, earlier, I think it was a couple years ago, there was a lawsuit between them and Nexon because they'd found out that the developers of Dark and Darker stole trade secrets from Nexon because it was like internally there was like an internal project that greatly resembled it called P3 within Nexon. I don't know, but they removed.
Did they end up winning that lawsuit? Because it seemed like it was very like. I think they used to work there, but they had the idea and they didn't want to work on it, and it just like. I don't know.
So
it seems like a whole mess.
So copyright infringement, Nexon did lose that, but they won the trade secret lawsuit, which alleges that they stole trade secrets from Nexon. So there is legal precedent for this to be removed, and I mean,
I think it's a messy thing that honestly. I don't know. I followed it a little bit a while ago, and I already forgot a little bit. But it sounds like it sounds like a mess. I don't know.
It is a huge mess. Oh, let's see how it's doing on Steam, though. It's doing pretty bad. What the hell changed? Decided they removed solo and duo. You know what people were complaining about during the Marathon Alpha? Not having a solo or duo queue. So, I mean, it seems like it's pretty common. They don't want to play with a third wheel, or they don't want to play with others, period. But, I mean, if you matchmake by yourself and you don't get teammates, then you're at a pretty big disadvantage, 3v1ing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nexon's a pretty big company, too.
It's a hard game.
Yeah. And for those who
It's a hard game to play. Like, it is very difficult, so if you don't have a good team, like, it's not very fun.
Wait, hold on. Nexon has a version of Counter-Strike, and it's also, like, co-developed by Valve, too. And it looks like old CS. Look, even the screenshots are 4x3. Yeah. That's crazy. What else do they what else does Nexon have on Steam? I know, Alright, let's look at publisher then. Since clearly I have the Dungeon Fighter DNF Duel. It's a pretty good fighting game. It looks like they don't have that much, but maybe I'm just tripping. Could have sworn I've seen Maple Story on here at some point. Look, Maple Story's right there. It's their top selling game. I mean, makes the most money because it's Maple Story, of course. Alright. That's it for Nexon. Anyways, Dark and Darker is still on Steam. It's not doing too hot because players aren't liking some of the changes. And because they removed it from the Epic Game. They also removed it from the Epic Game Store. But I don't know anyone that's actually played this game through the Epic Game Store instead of just doing it through Steam. But it's still unfortunate that this is the case. You guys have any thoughts?
The title says that it's going to be removed from people's libraries. Is that true?
Yes, that's also part of it too.
That's wild. Are they going to get refunds if they have it removed, or is it free?
Well, the game itself is free, but
Yeah.
there are microtransactions and legendary statuses that you can buy. It says here that you can use the shards that you get until November of this year. And they will be issuing a refund to all players who purchase a legendary status. And it'll go back to your credit card, but if not, it'll go to your Epic balance. And they can't provide refunds for the redstone shards. Yada, yada, yada. So it looks like they'll be giving some refunds. Maybe not everything, but something.
Cold comfort sounds like.
It's a hard one. I mean, they need to do full refunds if you can't access it anymore. But that's also a little bit on Epic too to maybe facilitate that. Because if you're gonna choose to play that game, then
I mean, this is a legal proceeding in the in South Korea's court apparently too. So
yeah, but it's still on Steam, right? Why is it being removed from Epic but not Steam?
No one knows yet.
Exactly. Well, and from my understanding, like I said, the developers of Dark and Darker worked on something similar at the previous company, but they weren't going to do anything with it. From my understanding, they weren't going to launch it. They didn't want to do it. So it was like they came up with the idea there, and then they went and did their own company because nothing was going to come of it. And then they decided to make their own game, the main company. So it's one of those types of things where I really don't like the idea of not being like it. I've been at companies where I've had ideas where I wanted to move on to somewhere else, or even do it myself, and they really pushed back on that. And they wanted to claim it, kind of stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know. An idea is an idea. Stop. We need to stop with this trade secret stuff. But that's just me.
I mean,
So I'm a little bit more with the developers, but I don't know if I remember the whole story. So there could be still some skeezy stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, they removed it from the library. That's pretty crazy. And there's no telling if the same will happen on Steam as well. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but it could happen, to be honest. Honestly, this is probably what Nintendo wants for Power World, if you remember. They probably want Power World, like, eradicated. And not just, like, you can't buy it anymore. More like, you can't play it anymore, either.
If we catch you playing it at your house, we're gonna come execute you, kind of thing.
We're gonna brick your Switch.
Oh, no! We didn't talk about this during the Switch topic, but the MiG Switch 2 apparently now works on the Switch 2.
Yeah, but don't use it.
Yeah, unless you don't value online play, which, I mean, to be honest, I don't really play online, so it doesn't really matter that much to me, but if you value your Mario Kart World sweaty gameplay online, then don't.
The thing is, it prevents you from even accessing the eShop, so you can't download updates for your games.
Shit,
like
really?
there's all sorts of that. So even playing your games offline won't be as good as they would be, and
So Nintendo wants to lock you onto potentially vulnerable system versions. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get for pirating Switch games, dude.
Yeah, but like
it's not even pirating though.
Yeah, it's like backing up your own games.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like the fact is if you can't get updates for your Switch 2, then your Switch 2 is locked to a version that could have a jailbreak discovered at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it is
most likely
mind-bogglingly stupid that Nintendo would do something like that. But
This is Nintendo we're
God.
dealing with.
yeah, I
They're
mean, let's be
frothing
honest.
at the
Nintendo
mouth
is
with all
so
this.
stupid that they would like, if they found that if they didn't like something I said on my channel, they could like brick my Switch because they didn't like it. Like that's how dumb Nintendo is. Like they would actually do something like that. No.
The big question is, will they though? Because I mean, a lot of that. I mean, that said a lot in a lot of like terms of use, like contracts, right? I guess they're not technically contracts, but like TOSs and stuff.
I mean, you don't own the Switch 2 though, from my understanding. You are renting it or whatever. Like you don't own your system.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you don't own it, and it's also an Xbox.
And it costs $500.
Which is crazy. And honestly, I don't think going to court. I honestly don't think you could uphold that very well. But it allows them to kind of do these sneaky things where if they want to brick your device, they probably can get away with it. But I would like to see it challenged, because at the end of the day, we have some very archaic laws on the hardware and software we own in the States, and I'd really like us to start doing some more consumer friendly laws.
Yeah, the thing is too that they're not just like, they're not bricking the console. They're just, obviously making it so it doesn't work online.
Yeah.
But it's not tied to your account. So you can just go buy another Switch 2 and then use that. So they're okay with you spending more money. It's not your account, which is crazy. Like there's a YouTuber I know, like Scattered Brain, and he's like kind of made that first video where he's like, hey, my thing got bricked because I tried to use the MIG on it. And then he went and bought another one, and it worked fine. And he was doing it to make videos about it. But that's $1,000 for 2 Nintendo Switches, and because that's a lot of money Nintendo's making.
With that, I mean, honestly, I think Gardiner is a great concept on this. Like, you probably want to update that to make sure that you can't, because if they're just going to make it so you can't have any updates, it's going to push people more and more to just sideload stuff and figure some hacks out with it. But I am curious with this that how many people are going to like brick it and then try to sell their Switch and not tell them.
Right. Yeah, I was surprised to not see them on eBay yet.
They're like, gonna. Well, they're not going to tell. They might be. They might be. Some of those scalper versions might be. Right.
I mean, people did that with the Switch 1 originally, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about scalpers too. If I was a scalper, and I'm definitely not, the smart move would be to just keep those things in the box, wait a couple of years, and then once an exploit's available, sell them on eBay then, and be like, hey, never been updated, and say whatever version number it is. That's how you get your money back, basically. But I think that a lot of scalpers are looking for a quick buck, and so they probably don't want to wait a couple of years for that.
Yeah, especially since some of them have spent thousands of dollars, and that's a lot of money to not have access to for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, any hard. Well, typically with product, anything that's on the shelf is just losing you money. So,
right.
Hey, scalpers, I have a quick way for you to make some of your money back. Just reduce the price and undercut Nintendo. Easy.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a Donkey Kong kind of guy. I am super curious about some of the other games coming out too eventually, hopefully, like Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I am super curious about the mouse functionality because, I mean, I know it's a thing, but I am super curious as to how the mouse actually functions, like in an FPS situation. Like,
do they have any games that work really well with the mouse yet?
Cyberpunk, they've said works pretty well. I think I don't think Civ is out yet, but
you haven't tried it yet, Russ, because you have Cyberpunk on there.
Yeah.
I'm not a mouse guy.
I know, but I'm really curious. You should try it out and let us know, because I'm really curious.
What if you like 3D printed a mouse mount for it?
Yeah, I think that there's, we've always seen that Switch accessory market is always kind of blown up, and so I'm expecting, we'll see some pretty cool stuff in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to see is someone try to use their Switch mouse on PC. Could be interesting.
Yeah, but you could just get a $50 mouse that's going to be better.
Yeah, you could better. Like substantially better. It wireless too, and I don't know if it's going to be as light as the Switch 2 Joy-Con is, but there are some pretty light mice out there.
Yeah. I will say, so, talking about Switch hardware, one thing I discovered yesterday, I was working on a video for it. So GameCube on Nintendo Switch 2 is a thing, right? You can pay for that like online service and you get access to 3 games for $50 a year.
Right.
That's its whole thing. But you can also, if you're a Switch Online member, you have the privilege of buying a GameCube controller that's like $65 or whatever. So I did all that stuff, mostly, again, to make videos. The cool thing is that GameCube controller actually works really well, and they have been updating games to work with it. So I have Mario 3D All-Stars, which has Mario Sunshine on it. It works perfectly with that GameCube controller when you plug it in. Like, the controls themselves work as they are intended with the GameCube controller, even though when you play that game on its own with the Joy-Cons, it's not set up that way because they don't have analog triggers. So honestly, like, I was expecting to make this whole video being like, look at how Nintendo sucks. Like, they can't even support this controller with these other older games. But they had already done the update, and it already worked great. And I was like, holy crap, I don't even have an argument here. Like, they actually did something very user-friendly and cool, which I was not expecting.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it was kind of fun little thing. I have a video coming out probably this weekend about that.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of handheld stuff. All three major companies are doing big things. I think the only one that hasn't did anything big. Well, actually, no, Valve's done some big stuff. I mean, they made Steam OS, like,
Yeah,
they made that available, and they also made and they also partnered with Lenovo. And I'm wondering if any other companies will partner with them, because it looks like Asus may not be. There's a good chance.
yeah. I feel like they've drawn lines in the sand at this point.
Yeah.
If you want Lenovo, go the SteamOS route. You want to go Xbox, go the Asus route.
I forget who talked about it, but I heard I heard some rumblings about HP potentially going with SteamOS
Interesting.
for like their hypothetical handheld if they were to make one. Because
they've talked about it. I think like one-offs in news before, like in some articles. So yeah, I could see them doing that, like during interviews. So
yeah, but yeah, there isn't. I don't know much more. Do you have any final thoughts on these topics before we move on to the AI stuff?
Let's talk about AI.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is more Gardiner's topic, because he's the one that proposed this. Because I'm not super well versed in this article.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, this was some researchers who found that there's like some actual like real world cognitive impact on people they studied who were relying very heavily on LLMs. The researchers like asked a couple different groups of people to like either use a search engine or use like ChatGPT or something, and they ended up finding that the people who were using ChatGPT were less able to identify the own work that they submitted to the study. They were also at a significant cognitive disadvantage when it came to what was it? LLMs offer immediate convenience. Our findings highlight potential cognitive costs. Over 4 months, LLM users consistently underperformed at neural, linguistic, and behavioral levels. These results raise concerns about the long-term educational implications of LLM reliance and underscore the need for deeper inquiry into AI's role in learning. I think these were like college students that were like using AI to help with their studies and stuff too. So, very interesting results here, and I don't think they gave the full paper yet. But
it says there's a button that says View PDF on the right.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't see that.
There's 200 pages. That's a lot of pages to go over.
Yeah.
But
cool.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like if you're writing, papers for school, and you're using ChatGPT to help you do it, what are you even doing? Like, you're not like writing your own stuff, so it's not going to stick in your brain. Like,
right. Like, damn, Bill would be a good one to ask these questions because he's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, years before I had joined the Navy, so we're talking late 90s, I had to write a research paper. I was going to community college at the time, but I remember, this is kind of pre-internet, and I had to drive to a different university to go to their library and then like Dewey Decimal, like find the books that I needed in order to write, like get my research and cite my sources and write everything and whatnot. And I still remember that paper today better than all the stuff that I did for like my master's program, 10 years ago, where I was just searching a lot of stuff on Google and whatnot. And I think that says a lot, when you're using your brain like that, it really does kind of fire off in different ways. And I feel like ChatGPT, is like a very convenient thing right now, but it's kind of the, it's the Wall-ification of everything, where we're putting ourselves in these very convenient positions, but at some point we're just going to be kind of blobs floating around and being entertained all day, as opposed to having any sort of skills. And it'll be crazy if this is just another step towards that.
You know what this reminds me of? When TikTok first came out and they did studies on shortening attention spans. It's crazy too. My nephew, I've seen my nephews, they like watching stuff on YouTube and stuff, but I've seen them watch like some like AI generated. It's literally called AI brain rot, yada yada yada, and like what the fuck? It's not like it's not like inappropriate or anything, but it's just like, what is this?
Yeah,
it's very off-putting. It's very uncanny valley kind of style stuff. Yeah, I really don't like. I really try to have my kids not watch anything AI generated right now. In the future, who knows? I'd like to see more studies on this, but I agree. Like, you can't have ChatGPT do the work for you and then you retain any information unless you're like, certain people will, and it really depends on the way that you learn and the way that it will be individual. So like doing a study, there's a lot of room for error if they're not accounting for learning styles. But I agree, like ChatGPT is not going to help. I see AI tools more as like helpers. Like for me, I've already done the work on a lot of stuff, and I liked to use AI to do boilerplate and do stuff that's quicker, that I'm like, I've already done all this. Or like, hey, I want like a junior developer or someone to just like do something for me. That being said, I don't know, search engines are starting to get really annoying, and I'd almost rather use ChatGPT sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see how my brain goes.
I mean, James, I'm with you on that. Like, for me, the only way I use any LLM stuff is if I've already like written my article, and I just need like stupid things like filling out keywords on YouTube, right? Like I'll do that. I'll like I have DeepSeek on my computer, and I will just run my script through that and say, give me like comma delimited, like 500 characters worth of comma delimited YouTube tags, and it'll poop that out, and then I'll put it in YouTube. And like, but that's how I think about it, is like, it just like you said, it's like, it's work I've already done, and it's like the low effort stuff I just don't want to have to engage with. So yeah, it's a utility and not anything else.
Yeah, and I think companies are going to be really hurting soon because they're not realizing that it's not going to be a replacement anytime soon. Just don't want to. You want to use this as a utility, as a helper, and you should still like. And it's going to help get people to work more efficiently. And maybe, honestly, it would be nice if they went the other route of like, okay, well, it looks like we're going to have a 30-hour work week. Looks like we're going to like help the worker out. And we'll still have really good outcomes because we're already really profitable, but it's not going to be that way. They're honestly, it's going to be a poison pill at the end of the day. Like it's just going to kill a lot of these companies because they're going to over leverage into AI.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, it's just AI is probably the most it's going to be the most controversial technology in like basically forever, because I mean, this is threatening the livelihoods of all. It can't, like, it shouldn't be, but the fact that a lot of C-suite execs are just looking at it as like, oh, we don't need some of you programmers, or we don't need some of you artists, or we don't need some of you doctors anymore. Like, that's also an actual thing. They it's crazy. It's crazy to me that people are looking at AI as a sort of like human replacement when it should just be a tool. Like when they invented when they invented the screwdriver, they didn't replace like people, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've always had this fear of the robots are taking over, right? This is the first time where I'm like, hey, look, they actually might do this at some point. You know, there's another article you guys have in your notes about Nvidia using like humanoid robots to build, you know, some of their future tech and stuff. That's robots making robots at that point. You know, that gets a little bit scary at that point.
Oh, dude, that's right. Robots making robots. That's yeah. We should talk about this too, since that's also
robots making robots.
Yeah. So
somebody think of the children. It's so so disgusting.
So as you can see here, yeah. So like, this is Nvidia. Nvidia is in talks with Foxconn to have Foxconn use robots in their facility in Houston because, I mean, to be honest, there's no way they could, like, if anything's being manufactured in America, there's no way it can be nearly as cheap as it is in, like, China. Like, I think they've estimated that, like, if you take an iPhone that's, like, $1,000, it'll be, like, 3 times the price if it were made in America.
I don't trust numbers from these companies. They can still make things profitable. The problem is they want it to be just as they'd reduce their profit, of course, but it would still be profitable. It's just they want to continue with how much money they're making because they have to, or else.
It's
I really hate
it literally
and all that.
It should not be possible that manufacturing something on the other side of the world and then shipping it here is less expensive. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry.
It makes sense. It makes sense if you can. Well, it doesn't make sense. No, I agree. It shouldn't make sense. The only reason why it works that way is because, you know, lack of wages overseas, and also, you know, lack of like human, like, workers' rights and shit. From what I understand,
that's what
that's what it is.
Exploitation.
Yeah, like,
well, the thing is, like, the whole reason why jobs are supposed to be moving over here and all this manufacturing is supposed to be moving to the United States is to give people more jobs. But it's hilarious that this article is about how they're just going to do robots instead, right? So where are the jobs? Like, who are the people getting these jobs at this point? It's literally just changing the location and then also not providing an additional job for the workers who are being replaced by these robots.
That is a good. That is a good point.
The curse of, even if it's not AI, it's automation too. You can automate systems to build cars that you don't even have to, like. It doesn't have to be AI. It would just be a set of, like, okay, the car. You know, you get your metal, you process it. You don't need AI to be like changing the way they think, and it's going to be very static on how it's going to work and the outcome. But that's where we're going, and the problem with that, and like the buggy or like horses being replaced by cars and stuff, like, let's go with that. Like, there was some replacement that then required more jobs and actually probably increased the amount of jobs. The problem now, though, is that there's no job increase. It's a job decrease, like, quite a bit, just a replacement, and so it's gonna be nasty in the years to come. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll all be content creators.
Now, I have a
until
question.
YouTube like uses AI to like generative YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, the Fox mentioned that. Like, like, we're worried about, you know, AI content, like people using AI to make content as content creators, but the Fox mentioned the possibility that YouTube could just replace the entire concept of a content creator to begin with. Like, instead of having a search bar, you just have a prompt bar, and it just makes whatever videos you want. Like, like you want a review on the ROG Ally, ROG Xbox Ally X. Just type in ROG, type review, and it just makes a video, and it just makes a bunch of bullshit up about how good or how
all
bad
tailored for you.
Yeah, all tailored for you.
Yeah. So, Gardiner, sorry I cut you off, but you were about to say something.
Yeah, well, like, about this article, now that everybody is kind of, or so many people are starting to see through, like, the smoke and mirrors AI shit from Nvidia, which I believe was, like, one way that they just used to pump their stock.
Absolutely.
How much of this announcement is just more smoke and mirrors to pump up their stock? Because, like, AI's bullshit for the most part. Like, it can do some interesting things, but, like, it's not what everybody says it is, what these guys say it is. So how much of this is like, oh, you thought AI from the GPU side was great. How about AI with bodies that walk around and manufacture stuff? This just seems like complete nonsense to me. everything I've seen from like the tech with AI, like humanoid robots, it just doesn't seem like it's up to snuff to be able to pull off what they say it's going to do here.
Right. It's like the Tesla thing where they had like robots around like serving people drinks and stuff, but it was people controlling it remotely. It's like, okay, well, at least they made a job. Like that's job creation.
Yeah.
You got the remote control guys pretending to be a robot.
I'd be up for that if like people were controlling robots, because like manufacturing's a dangerous job too. People lose fingers and stuff. Like if you could like instead of you could do like a position where you control the robots, whether it's like through a controller, or like specialized, stuff like that,
or like an
like
animus
surgery
from
and stuff.
Yeah, the animus from Assassin's Creed, but controlling a robot body.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some
That's very
need for
Matrix.
that. Honestly, we're really close to having autonomous robots. We really are, but I think the biggest problem though is you wouldn't really use a humanoid for manufacturing. You'd want
like special arms and shit.
You'd want a special assembly system. That's already what they do with cars typically in facilities, is that they have a special assembly system. Now what you'd want, like robots could then take literally jobs if they have them be robotic, because then they could like any system that is designed for the humanoid could then take over. That's where if they don't want to advance those, because even with like manufacturing your burger, like McDonald's, a bunch of these companies are testing out doing automated
manufacturing your burger.
That's essentially what it would be like, right? Like you'll have robots, or they won't even be robots. They'll just be like a machine that will manufacture your hamburger. Essentially, like they'll put it together, you'll get it. To be fair, I'm kind of for it because I'm kind of tired of my order not being right, but you know.
Dude, they'll get the order wrong too, man. It's the McDonald's experience and the ice cream machine.
I don't think they will though.
The ice cream machine won't work either.
Well, I mean that's by design though. That's different.
Yeah. I mean, we're all part of the problem too. Like the other day, my family went to Taco Bell, and we walk in, and I'm about to go to the counter, but then they have like this tablet you can just order on, right?
Yeah.
And so we look at the person who's there to take our order, and we just pivot over to the tablet because we don't want to talk to a real person or whatever, right? And so that effect across the entire world is going to make people lose jobs and whatnot, because they're not going to need as many cashiers if more people are going to the tablets. And so we are, again, kind of part of that problem, the convenience of that or whatever. And I felt a little bit self-conscious about it when I was like, you know, it was my son in particular. He doesn't like talking to people, you know. And so I was like, all right, fine, we'll do the tablet thing. But I was like, man, I feel bad for that other person who's getting paid to just stand there at this point, and somebody's going to notice that, and they're going to Canex that job.
Dude.
See, I went to Taco Bell a few weeks ago, and whenever I go into a restaurant, I always see those things, and I'm like, I can't use those. I have to talk to the person, right?
Yeah.
But I stood at the counter for like 3 or 4 minutes, and I got like one person in the grill like flashed to look at me like, what are you doing? Just use the tablet. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to. Yeah, I had to. I didn't have a choice, and it was like, I don't know. I don't like the way that's heading.
Well, I think a lot of people that take orders also work the line, so at a lot of fast food places now, so they do both. I will say, I'm part of the problem. I'd rather use a tablet too, because I can customize my order.
Yeah, same.
And honestly, I use the app because Taco Bell really is pushing you to do that, because you'll get good deals. Like you can get the $5 meal deal thing where you can get a drink, 2 items, and like for $5, which is just a killer deal these days.
Yeah,
and so.
But I read a study that said that those kind of machines will like they're 150% or something more effective at upselling than a cashier, and they use dark patterns to sell you more stuff that you don't actually want. Like people spend more money on those machines when they do it, and it's like ethically, like as someone who, like the biggest problem I have with Valve is the way that they have designed like CS:GO to be like a slot machine, and these things at fast food restaurants are going that same path, and it's like I have no respect for that, and I don't want to use them.
I'll be honest, it doesn't work on me though. Like every time I order, I'm in this sense, like it could eventually,
yeah,
and certain times it can, But like for fast food, every time I order through a person, I end up ordering, I feel like, more because I just don't know what I want exactly. And I need to decide quicker. Where if I use a device, I'm like, okay, I can choose what I want, and I usually get the deals I want, and it ends up being cheaper. It's almost always been that way for me. But like McDonald's, I get a free kids meal almost every other week because I get kids meals for my kids all the time. So
Okay.
I
would
often.
I would admonish
the
you
dark
to
pattern
like.
is I go more often, but I'm fine with that as long as I'm not paying how much it is. So
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, it's starting
it's
to
got me
permeate in all of our
somewhat, but-
lives. If you, one other thing I've noticed, right, like grocery shopping, like the self checkout seems to be way more prominent now than it has been, say 10 years ago. And every time I'm doing it, I'm like, man, I can't believe that I'm like someone is supposed to get paid to bag all these groceries, but I'm just going to do it for free for this corporation that owns this grocery store,
Yeah.
And it's just become normalized, and more and more, I think we're going to see that stuff. And James, like you're talking, like it's like, yeah, like the gamification of your purchase, like the codes and the coupons and stuff like that. They're going to tweak it to really hit all those like human brain interactions where they're going to squeeze as much money out of us as we can, and we're just going to enjoy it. Like that's just kind of human nature.
You know what's really going to kill Taco Bell though? Not having the breakfast menu in my state.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
I mean, I found out that there's literally not a single Taco Bell in my state that does the breakfast stuff anymore. Like, do you guys still have Taco Bell breakfast in your area?
I've never checked.
I mean, you can check on their website, I think.
Yeah, things are very unique in Hawaii when it comes to stuff like McDonald's breakfast menu is totally different. Like I can get Spam, eggs, and rice, for breakfast at McDonald's here, which I don't think they have anywhere else.
That does sound pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
they make really good rice for some reason. I don't know how they do it.
It's the internet, like. Oh yeah, like I know Hawaii's part of America, but like I think I would imagine like most fast food chains count like the Hawaiian branches as like international. They always tend to be a little better than the American ones.
Yeah, they're a little different. Like you can go to Jack in the Box and get a Kahlua pig burger, or a Loco Moco burger. A Loco Moco is like rice, hamburger, and then an easy or over easy fried egg with gravy. They have that in a burger. You can get that at Jack in the Box here in Hawaii. So they definitely have a unique kind of market. And my wife at one point worked in like the buying office of Walmart. This is 20 years ago, and they have a unique market. Like they basically have two buying offices across the nation. There's one in Arkansas, which basically they're the people who decide what's going to go on shelves. Basically, there's one in Arkansas, and there was one in Hawaii. And because Hawaii was so unique that they didn't know what to put on the shelves that would actually sell. And so my wife worked in that office, which has now been replaced, and now it's part of corporate or whatever. But for a time, that was another unique thing about Hawaii. Very different market.
Yeah, my parents went to Hawaii. Several years ago, and they talked about how expensive everything was there. Like I think they said, like I don't know if it's accurate, but they said like a box of cereal was like $20.
It can be if you go to the wrong place. Like that's the thing about living here is you got to know exactly where to go for each individual thing. You can go to a grocery store and pay, $12 for a gallon of milk, or you can find it for $3 or $4 if you know where to go. So.
Okay, so it's like a tourist trap almost.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of you just have to, like, some stores are more efficient than others and just have the right deals. But it sucks, like, having to go to 10 places to do your grocery shopping throughout the week.
I mean,
crazy.
I've been to Hawaii a few times. I don't live there, obviously, but I've never seen a box of cereal for 20.
Yeah,
even
most
the
people
tourist
buy
trap areas. It's not that bad, but it is more expensive.
Right. Most people will buy their stuff at Costco. The Costco's in Hawaii are like the 3 busiest Costco's in the world, because of the amount of foot traffic and stuff. But that's where we go to like buy our meat, for example, just because the pricing is so good. And then we have to, cut it up and kind of put half in the freezer or whatever because the portions are so big. But that's how most people do it.
Yeah, you got this. I think there's sushi and poke and everything there. Like, oh yeah.
Good stuff.
So I think back to the AI stuff. You know who else tried to use AI? Wikipedia. So, back when I was still in school, they always talked about how Wikipedia is a place where you shouldn't cite it, but they always talked about how Wikipedia does cite some actual sources. Like if we go to I think you have a Wikipedia page.
Do I? I hope not. I don't think I do.
Let's find out. No, you don't.
No.
Let's do Linus Tech Tips. He has one.
There we go.
There he is, one of the OGs of tech YouTube. So, yada yada yada. You can see here, they have his birthday, all that cool stuff. Citation broken down. There's a lot of citations here. Let's see. Let's say you kind of don't believe this claim that he had 16 million subs on LTT. You click here, Social Blade. It's probably correct. I can't find it here, but is it? But wow, Social Blade looks a little different.
Yeah.
But yes, Wikipedia has generally been a good source of finding actual sources. But there was a strategy that had a lot of backlash from all the Wikipedia editors that do their stuff for free. Essentially, they wound up an AI summary at the top of each Wikipedia article. That wasn't the only AI related thing they did. That was probably the one that had the biggest backlash, but they had some tools to help handle the flood of AI generated content that'll probably be on Wikipedia.
What? So I'm just curious. So what the AI would do? You could even do this with DeepSeek on your local machine. Is summarize the content below. I'm curious. What's the problem with doing a summary that's automated?
Well, the thing is that AI summaries from Wikipedia wouldn't have been up to editorial standards, and the editors didn't like it.
I've been to a lot of Wikipedia pages that are not up to editorial standards, but okay.
I mean, that was the cited reason,
right,
for the article. I mean,
see, that's one of the places where I feel like AI does a good job. It doesn't replace what you need it to. It doesn't replace everything. It just helps. But then again, a lot of people might just read the summaries and that's it.
Yeah, I think that is the problem too. People just read the summaries but
you can't have the summaries without the base content. So you have to still have that content.
But it also pulls.
Well, the thing is.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that there's a lot of trolls who will put in misinformation as a joke, on Wikipedia pages. Sometimes you'll see that pop up for a few hours, and then if that gets validated by an AI summary, then all of a sudden it starts to look a little bit more valid, which I think would be pretty crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
It also drew here are some examples that came up. It said a user asked how many rocks should I eat in a day, and the feature responded at least one a day. So if you're not eating your daily rock count, then you're not doing too well health wise.
Does salt count? Because then it's correct.
Yeah.
I don't think you should eat a whole rock of salt.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Dude, you'll be dehydrated. You'll be thirsty forever.
It's a rock. It's a rock. An ant rock. It's the size of a little.
Like a pebble.
It's like a pebble. Not even a pebble.
Okay, salt pebble.
And then here's another one. Trigger warning. Political. How many Muslim presidents has the U.S. had? And the AI responded that Barack Obama was Muslim, which apparently was a misinterpretation of an academic article.
So this is the summaries that we're doing it
Yeah,
it sounds like honestly a problem with the AI. It honestly just sounds like.
I think these are just old examples of AI getting things wrong. I've heard about this one, the third one, where it's cheese is not sticking on pizza, and the AI said, "We'll just use a non-toxic glue." And so, I've heard of that one before. So I think it is showing examples of the things that could go wrong with Wikipedia.
Yeah, if you're doing a summary of what the content is below, the likelihood of it going wrong is pretty low. So,
and also Wikimedia is not as big of a company as Google is. Google can afford to fix that stuff, but I don't know if they Wikipedia is always struggling with getting donations, right? And so trying to implement this AI stuff is, in my opinion, not the play. It's too expensive for their mission statement, in my opinion.
I still think they could honestly doing the summary. Yeah,
I think that there's a couple things for me that I have a problem with here. The first thing is that the editors are doing this work for free, and if you're just running an AI summary over the work that people are doing, people are only going to read the summary unless they have something deeper that they need to find in the article. And I think AI summaries de-emphasize the content below. The other thing is it's acclimating people to trusting AI generated slop, and I think that from an ethical standpoint, Wikipedia should not be doing that. And I find those two things to be the biggest problem with this program.
Yeah, I mean, it still is utilizing what they build. Like if they do it right. Like I think I'm going off of the idea if I was designing this, how I would do it. And the way I would design it is I'd use something like a DeepSeek thing or run a very simplified LLM to take into account what has been written below and to have a lot of safeguards to just do a summary. And save maybe a little, because they already have summaries at the top, save a little bit of time for the editors and they can work on the meat of everything and just have things, like, because there's already a summary, just have it generated in a very, very guarded way.
But what value does that add versus the cost of running that locally or outsourcing it to something like OpenAI? Like, genuinely, I don't see the value.
They wouldn't need to outsource it. They could run a system.
Right, but even if they were running a system like themselves, that would still cost them a not insignificant amount of money. So what value would that add? That's my question.
I think you like the editors wouldn't have to, because I have run across a couple of articles of the summaries or the description like above at the top not being fully updated. And that's a little frustrating. So I know for me, for Wikipedia, it'd be nice to get the summary and then have a hyperlink to the areas where I really want to dig down. Because I've done it so many times in Wikipedia where I'll look at the description, okay, and then there's going to be, like, let's say you're looking at Linus from Linus Tech Tips. There's certain history that I want to look into. And I like to read the summary first, and then I like to then dive into the area that I'm interested in. And so having an up-to-date, I think it could help with the editors. I think there's definitely an ethical way to do this. It's just, are they going to do that?
So Wikimedia did implement some AI tools for the editors to use. So, and I believe they didn't have an issue with that, of course, because it helps them, right? It's the AI summaries that they had that they took issue with, and this is an example of one such a summary. Like, it just tells us things, but, like, one of the biggest defining factors of Wikipedia are the citations. Like, you see, like, on the right here, you see citations for stuff like the ball and stick model, or a Zwitter ionic form. Like, that doesn't sound real, but the citation sources make it certainly real for sure. But, like, the fucking machine, the machine-generated summaries don't give us any of that, and, like, like, the thing with Wikipedia is you can click on citations and it tells you where they got the citations from. And you can double check that. And I guess it still depends on if they cited trustworthy citations. But that's still better than not having it here. Like, it just seems like... sorry, go ahead.
No, it's. I just really think the summary thing is not a big deal if it's done ethically. I think you can easily do it ethically. But... yeah, is what it...
As I don't know. For me, I think that there can't be an ethical way to do this for an organization like Wikimedia, because they are committed to truth, and I just feel like AIs don't have that kind of commitment. Like, they just fundamentally can't have that right now. I just don't, and I don't see how, like I said earlier, acclimating end users to trusting this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, Wikipedia would basically be endorsing this, even though they have that little unverified icon. It just seems to me like that it violates a basic tenet of their organization.
I will say, I have never had AI give me a wrong summary when I've summarized tons of stuff, if you're using good sources.
Sure.
And so that's why I'm saying, like, you might even have a bet, like, yeah. No, I don't know. I'm not really wanting to really fight it. It's just,
Yeah.
it is very interesting
So here's a good example that I can think of is like, so I use Wikipedia a lot to read about movies and TV shows. Like after I've watched them, I always love like reading about what happened behind the scenes, whatever.
Right.
And an AI generated summary would maybe not be, it wouldn't have the same kind of care and attention to detail to avoid spoilers, or maybe frame something in a way that a human would kind of, who understands the film, or, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what I would kind of be looking for in my initial summary of a movie, is like, okay, I can read a little bit about it here. I don't have to worry about spoilers until later. You know, I'll read the rest, you know, afterwards. And that's the kind of thing that I would really want to see with this kind of summary, is that human touch, which just really kind of helps me to avoid the things I want to avoid and see the things I want to see, which I don't think an AI is capable of really figuring out just yet.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's prompts and params. Honestly, they could make that based on each article style. Like, I'm not saying get rid of editors. That's definitely not what I'm saying. It's just to make their life easier for the like these summary, because there's already summaries typically at the top of a lot of articles, just to make their life a little easier, so they don't have to keep track of that every time they update things.
Right.
It'd be a helping tool to make sure the summary's updated and not include all the information. That's just all I'm really shooting for. Is I know from an editor standpoint, I would like that.
I get where you're coming from, James. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, so Wikipedia did end up canceling that plan. The plan never went to fruition, ultimately. I think there's a good chance that they're trying to figure things out for now, for them to implement it later on. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. I'm just worried about the Wikipedia workers, you know, like their brain cognitive decline if they use all these AI tools like we were reading about, right? What if they start to suck at writing summaries? I want them to keep their skills up.
You're not wrong. It just really does suck to keep on updating things, and it's easy to miss.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what really... Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Have you seen these channels on YouTube that basically just like, they summarize a movie, but like in the most Spark Notesy way possible? And it's all like AI. It's read off via an AI. And God, I hate those channels so much.
I watch it. You know, a lot of my time is spent with like film and TV. Like that's just always been my favorite thing to kind of like as art to consume, and reading too. And one of my favorites is this guy named Recap and Chill, and he'll just like recap, you know, a season of a show. If I don't want to watch the whole season, I'll watch his 10-minute video. You know, and he's like one of the very few that are not like AI feeling, you know, and so that's my dude right there. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Recap and Chill. That's what I watch.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I like it when like critics can like, well, he's not a critic, he's a recapper, right? But he like,
right.
I'm sure he mentions like, he certainly puts a lot more flavor into his summaries than like.
Yeah, he puts a little snark in there, you know. He's like, oh, and once again they killed this guy off or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's got a little bit of human to him. Which I love.
Yeah. The ones I was thinking of definitely do not have that human. They're written by AI. They're like AI generated summaries that are read off by AIs. It's devoid of any human touch.
Yeah,
I think honestly, those types of people that go for that type of slop, I think they're doomed. So I think that's usually like the gate. Like if they're starting to do that and you notice that, we need to start putting those people in like a different camp or something.
Would you say they're?
I'm kidding, by the way. Like,
would you say they're eternally doomed, or are they just in a dark age?
They might be in a dark age and they might be able to get out of it, but they might be eternally doomed.
Damn! Imagine being eternally doomed. Couldn't be me, but you will be eternally doomed if you try to run iOS on a Switch. So, this guy right here spent 2 days of his life installing Linux. Alright, so here's what he did. He installed Linux. I can't tell what distro this is. If, Gardiner, if you can tell me what distro this is. You're the Linux guy.
It looks like
KDE,
KDE, maybe.
Oh, wait, it says
no.
Fedora. Shit, I didn't realize. I didn't read.
Is he running,
He's running like Fedora on the Switch. But he's running. He's running Kimu, or is it pronounced Kimu? I don't know.
QEMU. That's how I say it.
Yo, people get on me for saying Emu Deck instead of MU Deck. It's really funny.
Say it how
people
you
get
want,
on me
man.
for saying GNOME.
Yeah, just say it how you want, and then if someone gets mad at you, just like cool, like
Yeah, I
Just
don't
keep on saying it the way I want.
Yeah, I don't dignify those responses, but I just thought it'd be funny to mention. So they're using Kimu to run this, and basically what's happening is they're running actual iOS 11. Or actually not iOS 11. I forget which version of iOS it is, but it's the iPhone 11 version of iOS. It works technically, but it takes 20 minutes to boot, and you can't run any apps because it crashes, and there's kernel panics all the time.
Yeah, that's fun.
But it's
still cool, though.
It's fun. Yes.
I like it.
You can play Infinity Blade on it.
Dude, Infinity Blade on the Switch would be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Don't they have an iOS emulator now that you can play games on?
Fuck if I know.
I think they do.
I know they've
I'm
made a
looking
PC port of that game in particular. Like you can find it on Archive. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Do we know why Epic took that game down? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because they own the studio, right?
I can't remember. It had to do something with the App Store permissions or something. There was something about it.
Seems kind of silly. I wonder if anyone tried recreating the Infinity Blade in Fortnite.
I was really into that game when it first came out because, it had a whole backstory, and then Brandon Sanderson, like a, epic like fantasy writer, made a novel like based on it. He got hired to write a book about it. And so I read that book too. And there was a whole backstory. It's not just like swiping to slash your sword. There's like a whole story about how you get there and all that kind of stuff. Really cool. I love that kind of lore stuff. And we don't really see that with cell phone games anymore.
Yeah. Video game books based on video games are actually really good. Like, you wouldn't expect it, but then, like, unless it's okay, I've been to Barnes and Noble a few times, and I see like a literal shelf of like Minecraft. I don't know if it's fan fiction, but it's not authorized. It's definitely not official Minecraft like Mojang stuff, but it's definitely some sort of Minecraft like kids novel. And like, how are there so many of these?
My oldest son, who's 16 now, he read a lot of those back in the day and be like, help, I'm stuck in the zombie lair or whatever. And it'd be like a 50-page book or whatever. And yeah, he loved that stuff.
Man, I there's so many of those books. It's insane.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could read them on this iOS. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous.
There's books apps right there. Yeah.
But even like outside of this running on the Switch, like, I can't imagine a use for Kimu besides like running iOS on any device that isn't like an actual iPhone.
Yeah.
Or maybe like an Android device. Imagine running iOS on an Android phone. I think Steve Jobs would be rolling in his grave.
I mean, Steve Jobs, like, I don't care about Steve Jobs because the company wouldn't exist unless there was Microsoft. So I do think people get a little bit too uppity about, like, well, if Steve Jobs was alive, they'd be appalled at what Apple's doing. It's like,
Steve Jobs was alive when Apple was about to die.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, but
freaking Microsoft owns a part of Apple, if I'm not mistaken. Still, like,
that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. What's his face? What is his face? The original founder of Microsoft.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Yeah, he's the one that like specifically made sure, and he maybe he's the one that owns it, but like, yeah, he saved Apple. You're muted,
Dude.
by the way.
Oh, sorry. So, as I was saying, imagine like being in debt. Dude, that would be crazy if like I was in debt to Microsoft for anything like that, and I became super successful, and they still own me even after like I released the iPhone, and like it's crazy that yeah, imagine if Apple wasn't saved. Like,
I think Bill Gates liked having a competitor, but at the same time, they also ended up investing like too by saving it. So,
I mean, I think it was also
it's a whole story. There's a book or two on it. So,
I mean, I think this was during the time when Microsoft was under monopolistic lawsuits.
Yeah.
So I think that was also partly motive. But yeah, it's a cool like not phone kind of thingy. I wouldn't do this if I were you, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, parents. So do whatever you want.
Go buy an iPhone. They'll only do this if you just really want to have fun, which that's fine.
Or you could buy this Trump phone. It's a real phone supposedly.
Well, okay. I mean, of course it's a real phone, but is it going to be made in America? No.
I mean, I don't even know if it's going to be like. Remember the Pablo Escobar phone? That was not a real phone. In fact, it wasn't even its own phone. Like I remember, MKBHD like peeled off the back sticker, and it turned out to just be a Samsung device that they shipped out. So
That's I think what's gonna like if you look at the photo, at the photos of this, it looks like a case that was printed out, like just a phone case that they glued onto it.
So
It's pretty bad.
So let's see what the specs are. So it's actually built on a. Is there an official website? There is an official website. Trump.com.
Oh my gosh!
Should have made it Trump.gov if he's so impressive, right? Okay, so what does it say? For only $47.45 a month, presumably.
47th president, 45th president, because he's been both.
Wait, why does he call himself the 47th president if he's already been the 45th president? That's stupid.
Because he lost in between. That's just how it works. So
why does it work that way, though? That's stupid.
Oh,
Two different terms, yeah.
There's been other presidents that have done that, and I think it just has presidents now. Like we've had that type of stuff happen before. So
yeah, but that was like during the Dark Ages. We have the internet now. Okay, but real talk though. Let's see, $47.45 per month. They will receive unlimited. Okay, all right, we have all that already.
You're not gonna get the whole thing there. I'm trying to look for it. Yeah, okay, here you go. I'll post this in because there's it's actually harder to find it than I thought. Engadget has it for it's $499 is the phone. So the T1, which holy crap, calling it the T1, and then it's a 6.8 inch AMOLED display with a punch hole for about 16 megapixel front camera, 12 gigabytes of RAM. 256 gigabytes of storage, and it has a rear-facing cameras, including a 50 megapixel, 2 megapixel, and then like another 2 megapixel macro lens. Notable, it's still lacking some stuff. And there's still some speculation on it, but it's very like multiple analysts have suggested that the T1 is actually a reskinned Rebel 7. That's a $200 Android phone.
Yes, this is the one I'm showing right here.
Yeah, it is. The APU that's going into this thing, the CPU is like a 2 or 3 year old CPU. So
yeah, but it's like a $300 phone, so it's probably still better than. It's definitely better than having nothing or spending $500.
I don't know about that. Have you ever used a really cheap Android phone?
Well,
I think even.
But why would you pay $500 when you could pay a lot less?
Yeah, you could save $300.
Yeah.
And it looks
really
horrible.
Yeah. The interesting thing,
guys.
too, is they keep saying that it's going to be... They keep saying it's going to be made in the U.S., but they're saying it'll be eventually made in the U.S., right? And so I think that they're... the origin of this phone, is obviously going to be Chinese, and then they will... the word eventually, I think, is carrying a lot of weight right there.
Yeah. The design is horrible. I had ChatGPT create a better design, and I threw it into Discord. High tech. You can show it if you want it.
Oh, what? Wait, hold on. What do you do?
I threw it into Discord. The ChatGPT design. That what they should have done, because what they have right now has like the American flag. I'm like, if you have to put an American flag on your phone, like there's something weird about it. This right here, I'd actually, if you took off the Trump portion of it, I actually might buy this. But
why don't you just make one? You have a 3D printer.
It looks like The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very gilded looking. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point. Is it's like you're supposed to accent with gold. You're not supposed to just have the whole thing be gold. And then I was curious what an Xbox would look like, a Trump Xbox.
A Trump box?
Yeah.
What games is that going to play? That's funny.
It's going to play America's Army.
America Harmony. Damn.
Dude.
So, sorry. I this is a fun topic. I had a lot of fun the other day on stream doing this. So,
Yeah, so there actually is a phone that's made in the U.S. almost entirely, the Purism Liberty phone, and I don't know if this has any ties to the government or anything like that either.
No.
It's supposed to be a
how do they manufacture the silicon, like the CPU for it? I don't think we really have.
So I believe
Those
it's
types of
assembled in the U.S. and there are a few parts that are manufactured here.
Yeah.
But really, the appeal of the Liberty phone is that the supply chain is like there's provenance with every piece, and they have like verifiable boot chains and stuff like that. So there's no way that like if it's intercepted, it can be like modified.
so it's like a privacy phone.
Yeah, it's tamper evident is what they call it. I actually have 2 of these.
Damn.
Yeah, they've sent not the Liberty phone. I have 2 Purism Librem 5s. They've sent me to review and a long time ago. But they're really nice, but none of the carriers around here will support it, so I can't use it.
Would you if they did?
I would probably use it. The biggest problem with them is the battery life is absolutely terrible. Like 2 or 3 hours.
Damn, it's $800. Holy shit.
Yeah, I haven't used this one, like the most recent version, but the one that I have, the battery, I have like pre-release models, so the battery life
It's all
is really
it's
bad.
all that backdoor code that they have running because you know anyone that's going to buy this is going to be doing shady stuff. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, by the way.
Dude. This one's $2,000. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I get it. If you want privacy, like, there's a place for it.
yeah, and it's also chunky. Like, actually, I'll grab one. Hold on.
Well, I can see that it's chunky. It has a headphone jack.
I think I'd rather go back to a flip phone.
Like an actual flip phone, or like...
Yeah, like the old school.
Hey man, as long as they have a
Run
headphone
this.
jack, that'd be cool.
Yeah, no. I'd rather just go back to a flip phone than use something like this.
Come on. There we go. Look at how thick this boy is.
Oh, yeah.
That is a thick phone. You have a...
Compared to a. Yeah.
What?
This is a Pixel 4a.
Oh, that's like the size of
Dude,
2
it's
pixels.
twice.
Yeah, it is.
It's twice the size. Actually, the taper on the back makes it look like it's smaller than it is. Like it's probably almost 3 thick.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice and hefty. It fits. It feels good in my pocket. Like I know it's there. Like I'm not gonna leave it behind anywhere. I like it, honestly.
Yeah, I do see it. Man, these phones are awfully expensive, but they're also supposedly made in the U.S. Or I guess assembled in the U.S.
Well, assembled. I don't know.
The Liberty phone is made in the U.S. The Librem 5 is not.
I don't really care about the whole assembly thing. I think we're already a global market. It is what it is.
Yeah, we can't go back to global
Yeah.
isolationism, in my opinion.
No. That's what I'm afraid that some people are trying to do. And just like it's blatant lie too that Trump is that they're trying to make with the whole thing, and I don't like that because they're just tricking people. Because like his merch alone is made in China. Like this phone is going to be made in China. They're going to lie about it. Like they'll have like, oh well, make sure it comes over with the case with the glue on, and the phone itself comes over separate. We'll put it together and like assembled in America.
Yeah, there are some like FTC restrictions on some of that stuff. That's why like Apple can't say that they, even though sometimes they assemble things in the US, they have to, because it's just like a screwdriver job, like it's not enough according to the FTC. So they have to just say designed in the US. You know, like they're not allowed to say
the FTC
assembled.
has been gutted. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
to be fair, like, it is not. It's a mess. So, I mean, Trump has a cryptocurrency. Trump has this. Like the cryptocurrency alone should have been.
Here's a question.
Major.
Yeah.
If a government official has a cryptocurrency, should that count as counterfeiting?
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about like the service itself, I've seen a bunch of people react to this like, what? How is that possible? Like he's got his own like mobile carrier now, but like I actually had one when I like in 2012, 2013, because I had a friend who got like super rich, like real, like he made so much money because he was able to start his own. It's called a mobile virtual network operator, and all you have to do is go to like one of these services, and they give you like an MVNO in a box, and you have no cost of infrastructure, no cost in starting up except like to buy like some of the software for that from them, and then you can start selling virtual networks to people. And I got into it because I saw my friend do it, and then as soon as I saw how the business actually operated, I was like, oh, this is just people buying like burner phones to commit crimes and stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to be part of this. Like legitimately, it like some of the support calls I took from like the 5 or 10 customers I had were like, I need to figure out how to like erase this. And dude, there was some chilling shit that I heard, and I'm not going to repeat, but yeah, bad stuff.
Unexpected Gardiner lore drop is crazy, man.
Dude, yeah, I'll tell you. I've had a very interesting life.
So
I mean, so there were also like Trump watches, right? That was a big thing, and they were selling like these golden watches that ended up like they were made in Switzerland. I think they were Swiss made, but then reports came out that it was probably made in China. You know, very similar things that we've already seen with other alternatives they've had. Yeah.
They also made Trump shoes as well. Let's pull up some of these Trump products. Yeah, they made like Trump shoes. Like they were like sneakers.
My whole thing is accent with gold. You accent with gold. You don't do the whole thing gold. It's so tacky.
Yeah, here's
See, my thought on that is that like is like why do scam emails always come riddled with like typos and spelling errors, you know? It's like because it weeds out the people who they're not trying to scam, right?
Oh.
And it's the same thing with the gold, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look,
it's very gaudy.
It's $400 shoes. I mean, I've seen some pretty expensive shoes, to be honest. These are not it though. And you said there was a Trump watch as well.
Yeah, there's a Trump watch. I'm thinking there was also a Trump gun at some point. They were selling like a golden gun you could get.
A golden gun?
Sounds
like
very,
007.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds very GoldenEye.
It does.
I think the guns may be third party though. It may not be from him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's like an actual thing. But the shoes definitely were.
If you get the gold card, American citizenship for $5 million, does it come with like a gun? And
it comes with you not being deported immediately. Yeah, this is some man. What the fuck?
No.
All I gotta say is I don't think anyone listening is gonna get a Trump phone, but don't do it. It's not even a political thing at this point. It's just
bad value.
It's a bad value. 2, it looks horrendous. Like you're gonna get laughed at anywhere you go. And then the network isn't even a good deal. Like go get like Mint or do one of these other like it's gonna be a better deal. They try to say that. Well, they also mentioned it's gonna have free roaming, so you can go to other countries. And I just don't. They've got it like for that price. We'll see.
Roaming is how you make the most money as a carrier. Like, there's no way they're gonna forgo that. And also, like, I pay $26 a month for my phone service because I'm a cheap bastard, and literally it's less than half of what. Or it's about less. It's just about half of what they're charging. So, like, dude, give me a break.
I mean, I pay for both me and my wife, Susie, I think $70, but it includes unlimited data. We can also like do unlimited. What is that? Tethering of Wi-Fi to my laptop and stuff like that. And then I also have internet on my watch too. So if I forget I like to go running without my phone, and I can still listen to my stuff. So
Yeah.
convenience there is nice, but it's drastically cheaper than what I was paying like a few years ago, where I think at one point I was paying like 130 just for the service.
Holy cow.
For 2 people.
Man. I don't know, man. Prices are out of whack. The phone itself, like the actual Revel 7 phone itself, is like $200. So I'm not saying you should buy that, but what I am saying is if you're eyeing the $500 Trump phone, let's look at some phones that are like $500.
You're gonna get such a better deal.
Yeah, let's see what they got. The Samsung A35. I hear that's a pretty... Hell, you could spend $100 more and get an iPhone 16e. I know some of us may not like Apple that much, but that's a better phone, like, by far. And it's an iPhone, so you can FaceTime as well. Or you get the Google Pixel 9a. That's probably a good value, too. It's certainly a lot better than, OnePlus 13R. It's $100 more expensive, but, I mean, it's a pretty good phone. Oh, you got phones under $400, too. Ones that are cheaper than the Trump phone. You got the Galaxy A35 5G.
But it's not gold.
Oh, yeah.
So here's where you grift. You sell gold-plated Trump cases. That's where you get for like $50 to $100.
I wonder if D-Brand sells any gold skins.
You just went right to D-Brand. That's funny.
Hey, D-Brand, if you don't make...
I think they make good stuff.
They do make good stuff. I wonder if they have any gold skins.
We need to start wrapping this up, though. I think Gardiner needs to get going. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
and we're at the tail end.
All right,
sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so I mean, D-Brand, if you're watching this video, I doubt it, but if you're watching this video, you know what you should do? Make a gold skin. They do that stuff.
You could troll with it.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say they should sponsor the podcast.
Well, I think if they want to sponsor the podcast, I'd be down for it.
And do I think a gold skin would be awesome. I might do that, but accent it. Don't do a full gold.
Dude, it has to be full gold for the full experience, for the full gaudy experience.
Who's gonna buy a full gold? Like, it's so tacky.
Are they gonna, they're a Canadian company, so are they gonna put made in Canada, or what are they gonna do there?
That would be
really good. Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
Anyways, any final thoughts before we close the podcast? I know it's about time to start wrapping up, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
I don't have any thoughts.
No,
nothing going on in this noggin.
Yeah. AI is coming for our jobs, but at least we have a Trump phone. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. At least we have a bunch of handhelds.
At least we have the top pinnacle of luxury with the Trump phone.
Yes. It better be soft gold that molds into my hand.
They should have made it more expensive, man. How am I supposed to flex? How am I supposed to flex the price tag?
True. I mean, that's why I have my iPhone, is so that I'd be like, did you pay over $1,000 for your phone? Well.
Poor.
Poor. What an insult.
Anyways, I think it's been a good episode. It's nice having you on again, Russ, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. This is fun. It's a lot more laid back than like the Nerd Nest, and so I appreciate having these complimentary kind of experiences too. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime.
I'm glad we could be. I don't think I would have used the word more relaxing or laid back, but I appreciate the compliment. I'm sure the others too.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Laid back is the polite way of saying less professional.
We're a little more crazy, we should say.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's more like we're just hanging out,
Yes.
And I appreciate that. And I think that everyone listening is just kind of hanging out too. So it's a fun experience.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. It should be a fun experience too, yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
All right. And
anything you want to shout out before we head out? Or did we ask that already?
No, I mean, just, my channel, Retro Game Core, I'm just making videos, all I'm doing. I'm going to, I don't know when this is going to air, but this coming weekend, not the one that's like starting, today, but like next weekend, so a week from now, I'll be at Too Many Games in Philadelphia, which is like a gaming convention. I'll be there with like Bob Wolf and the Wolf Den guys. We'll be hanging out, doing a live podcast. I'll do like a signing and stuff. So if anyone's in that East Coast area and want to hang out or whatever, it's pretty cool. It's reasonably cheap to get in. I think it's like $90 for all 3 days. I'll be there Friday and Saturday.
That's not bad.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
That sounds awesome. Yes. I mean, I don't think I'm free that weekend, aside from the podcast, but sounds like fun in case anyone wants to go.
All good.
Yeah. So links to the description for Russ's channels, for all of our channels as well. And if you like us, please like and subscribe. Forgot to mention this earlier, but we're aiming to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year on YouTube. So if you like us, please go on YouTube and subscribe to us, like the video, do whatever you'd like. Even if you're an audio listener, please. And with that, I think we'll close out the show. Have a good day, everyone.
Yes.
See ya.
See you later, guys.